Hello viewers, welcome to my channel. I'm Hashim. So in this video, the last video on trial balance. Already one video I have prepared on trial balance explaining the meaning of the term trial balance, objectives of making the trial balance, advantages and disadvantages of trial balance, and the method of preparing the trial balance. That completely I have explained in the first video. The next three videos I have uploaded on the main problems of making the trial balance. This is the last video on trial balance where I am going to explain you about the short bits, short questions and MCQs on trial balance. In IGCSE courses, Cambridge as well as edXL, many past question papers I have seen, the questions are asked in bits. A small short question will be asked on trial balance and MCQs will be asked. So I have decided to make one video on the short questions and MCQs. So watch the video till the end to get the complete command on the topic of trial balance. So before starting the video, take a screenshot of the notes which I have written on the board so that you can keep a hard copy, a permanent notes of the points regarding trial balance. Explain you about the different short bits on trial balance. First, which side of trial balance usually has more entries? See here, a trial balance is a statement in which two columns we will make, that is debit column and credit column. We take all ledger account balances. We will open the ledger accounts. We will find out what are the balances in each and every account. Some ledger accounts will show debit balance. Some ledger accounts may show credit balance. All debit balances will be taken in debit column and all credit balances will take it in credit column. So normally we find more entries in debit column because in debit column we take expenses, losses, assets. So normally expenses, losses, assets will be more compared to the credit entries. So normally in a trial balance, the debit entries are more than the credit entries. The answer is debit side. Next, what is the major weakness of preparing trial balance? There are many advantages of trial balance, but one of the limitation of trial balance or disadvantage of trial balance is not all errors will be disclosed in the trial balance. Sometimes it may happen that trial balance will tally, but still there may be some errors in the books of accounts. In simple words, all the different types of errors will not be disclosed in the trial balance. Next one, what is the advantage of preparing a trial balance? The main advantage of making the trial balance is to check the arithmetical accuracy of the books of accounts. Whether the accountant has correctly posted the entries from book of original entry to the ledger accounts. Whether the accountant has correctly posted or not. To check the arithmetical accuracy, we make the trial balance. That is the main advantage. Next one, which account should you open if trial balance doesn't balance? Sometimes while making the trial balance, we find the trial balance is not tallying. The total of debit column and the total of credit column is different, not same. In that case, a temporary account is made. That account is called suspense account. So suspense account is a temporary account which is opened whenever a trial balance does not tally. Later on, when the errors are located, rectified, then this suspense account will get closed. Next, the debit side of trial balance lists the following. So normally what will be taken in the debit column of the trial balance? So remember, expenses, assets and drawings. Expenses, assets and drawings. These are the items normally we will take out on the debit side of the trial balance. Now, the credit side of the trial balance lists the following. Credit side, what are the items that will be taken? Liabilities, incomes, and capital. The liabilities, incomes, and capital, these are the items that will be taken in the credit column of the trial balance. Next, what do you mean by overcast? Overcast means when we have taken an amount which is more than the original amount. If by mistake we have taken, the accountant has taken more amount than what originally it is. For example, in the cash book debit side, the total of the debit side actually is 1000. But by mistake the accountant has taken 1100. Instead of 1000, the actual original correct amount is 1000. But by mistake the accountant has taken 1100 more he has taken. It is called overcost. Overcost means when the amount taken is more than the original amount. So when the amount recorded in the account is more than the original amount, it is called overcast. Then undercast is exactly opposite. When the amount taken is less than the original amount. Suppose in the account the total should come to 1000, but by mistake the accountant has taken 900. Another example I'll give you, in purchase day book or sales day book. While making the total of the purchase day book, the accountant has taken less amount. Actual correct amount is 1000, but by mistake the accountant has taken 900. He has taken less, so it is called undercast. So when the amount recorded in the account is lower than the original amount, it is called undercast. What is balancing of an account? See here. First, the entries are recorded in the original book of original entry. Periodically, the entries will be posted from book of original entry to ledger account. So this process of passing the entries and posting will be continued throughout the year. At the end of the year, all the accounts will be balanced. Balance means finding out the difference between debit column and debit side and credit side of an account. An account will have two sides. Left hand side is called debit side, right hand side is called credit side. Now suppose the debit side total is 1000 and the credit side total is 900. Now subtract 1000 debit side, 900 credit side. So 1000 minus 900, so remains 100. This 100 is called balance. The difference between debit total and credit total, the difference is called balance. And this balance will be written on that side which is lower. On that side which is lower. In our example, debit side 1000, credit side 900. So credit side is lower. So $100 will be taken on the credit side. That is called balancing. So at the end of the year, every account will be balanced. Some accounts will be closed. Suppose if the debit side and credit side, both the amounts are exactly equal. That means there is no balance. There is no balance. But many other accounts are there where debit side and credit side total are not same. Sometimes debit side is more, credit side is less. Sometimes credit side is more, debit side is less. So the difference between debit total and credit total is called balance. And that balance will be written on that side which is lower. That's it. Now next is, what is trial balance? Already in the first video I have explained you in detail. Trial balance is a statement which is prepared at the end of the year to find the arithmetical accuracy of the books of accounts. So how to make the trial balance? We take all the balances in the ledger accounts In the ledger, so many accounts are there. Every account will show either a debit balance or a credit balance. Take all the debit balances and credit balances on a statement. In this statement, two columns are open, one column debit column, other column credit column. Take all the debit balances in the debit column, take all the credit balances in the credit column. If the total of debit column and credit column are equal, it means there are no arithmetic mistakes. There are no mistakes if the total of debit column and credit column are same. Suppose if the total of debit and credit columns are different, it means there are some errors in the books of accounts. Errors in the books of accounts. That is the trial balance. Next is, what is dead click? It's a technique of preparing the trial balance. That means in examination, you will be given the items. Different amounts and different items are given. Now you have to decide which item should be taken in debit column and which item to be taken in the credit column. As a student, in examination, it will not specify that these are debit items, these are credit items. You have to decide. So how to decide an item should be taken in debit column or credit column? The technique, the shortcut method is remember the word dead click. By remembering this word dead click, it will be helpful to make the trial balance. What do you mean by dead? Debit entries will always be expenses, assets and drawings. DEAD. D stands for debit entries. Debit entries will be for expenses, assets and drawings. DEAD. D stands for debit entries. Debit entries for expenses, assets and drawings. And click. Click stands for credit entries. Credit entries for liabilities, incomes and capital. Liabilities, incomes and capital. So by remembering this dead click, it will be helpful to make the trial balance. Dead stands for debit for expenses, assets and drawings. Expenses, assets and drawings. And click stands for credit entries for liabilities, incomes and capital. That's it. Next comes, so far I have explained you about the short questions. Now I am explaining some MCQs, multiple choice questions. Now you have to decide out of the 4 options which option is correct. Now see carefully. Here, first one, why is a trial balance prepared? Why is a trial balance prepared? The first answer, to calculate profit for the year. Do we get the profit by making trial balance? No, absolutely wrong. We can get the profit by making income statement. By making income statement, we can find the profit. By making trial balance, we will never get the profit. So A answer is wrong. B, to check the amount of owner's equity. No, sorry. That is not the purpose of making the trial balance. Trial balance is not prepared to find out the owner's capital, owner's equity. Third, to check the arithmetical accuracy of double entry system of bookkeeping. Yes, absolutely right. Double entry system of bookkeeping, to check whether arithmetically the books of accounts are correct or not. That is the purpose of making the trial balance. Last one, to find out how much is owed to a trade payable. That is not the purpose. The trial balance is not prepared to find out how much we are owing to trade payable. No. The correct answer is, the trial balance is prepared to check the arithmetical accuracy of double entry system of bookkeeping. So right answer is C. C is the right answer. Next one, Way E receives payment from a trade payable. Way E, he is the businessman. He is the businessman and he has receives payment from a trade payable. When he receives the payment, bank account should be debited. Debit what comes in? When payee receives payment, so bank account should be debited and the giver should be credited. Who is the giver? Trade payable is the giver. So correct entry is bank account should be debited and trade payable should be credited. That is the correct entry because we have received the payment. Payee has received the payment. So bank should be debited, trade payable should be credited. And she debits the trade payables account and credits the bank account. Opposite, ulta. What she has done? Payee. What she has done? She has debited trade payable and credited bank account. The correct entry, bank account debit, trade payable credit. But by mistake, what is the entry she has passed? Trade payable debit, bank account credit. Opposite she has done. She has completely reversed. Actually, bank should have been debited, but by mistake she has credited. Actually, trade payable should have been credited, but by mistake she has debited. Opposite. So which type of error is this? Answer: compensating error, complete reversal, original entry, or principal. The error is complete reversal. That means the correct entry is bank account debit, trade payable credit. That is the correct entry. But by mistake she has done opposite. Trade payable she has debited, bank account she has credited. The error is complete reversal. It's an error of complete reversal. So here B answer is right. Next, 14. Which will appear on the credit side of the trial balance? 4 items are given. Now you have to decide which item should be taken in the credit column of the trial balance. One by one we'll check. Loan interest received. See here, whenever we make the trial balance, you have to remember dead click. Dead click. Debit entries for expenses, assets and drawings, and click credit entries for liabilities, incomes and capital. Right? This you have to remember. Now which item will show credit balance? Loan interest received, it's an income. When loan interest received is given, it's an income, and income should be credited. Here it is given liabilities, incomes and capital. Credit entries will be always be liabilities, income and capital. If there is an income, it will be credited. So our correct answer is loan interest received. Second, B answer, motor vehicle at cost. Actually, motor vehicle is an asset. Motor vehicle is an asset, and asset will be debited. Asset will be debited. So it is asking you credit. Which item will be taken on credit column? So this is not the answer. Rent paid, electricity bill. Rent paid is an expense. Electricity bill is an expense. So all expenses will show debit balance. Expenses will show debit balance. So out of the 4 items, electricity, debit balance. Rent paid, debit balance. Motor vehicle, debit balance. Interest on loan received is an income. It will show credit balance. The correct answer is A. Now next one, 15. 15. Which of the following is not a purpose of preparing a trial balance? 4 answers are given. Which of these 4 items is not the purpose of preparing a trial balance? First one, to aid the preparation of financial statements. Aid means help. See here, this trial balance is prepared to help in making the financial statements. If we have prepared the trial balance, it will be very easier to make the financial statements. The financial statements consist of income statement and statement of financial position. These two combined together constitutes financial statements. So easily we can make financial statements if we prepare a trial balance. So that is the purpose. The trial balance is prepared for the purpose of making financial statements, or it will be easier to make financial statements with the help of trial balance. So first one is not the answer. To check the arithmetical accuracy of the double entry system of bookkeeping, yes, the trial balance is prepared for the purpose of to check the arithmetical accuracy of the double entry system of bookkeeping. That is also the purpose. See, to help locate arithmetical errors, yes, of course, the trial balance is prepared to check the arithmetical accuracy, to locate the errors. Last one, once we have decided that A, B, C, all the A, B, C are the purpose of making trial balance, so naturally D will not be the purpose. To prove that the double entry has been carried out without errors, no. This is not the purpose of making the trial balance. So I have explained you some short questions and also some MCQs. The last one, this is not the purpose. A, B, C are the purpose. To help preparing the financial statements, to check the arithmetical accuracy, to locate the errors, these are the purpose. The last one is not the purpose of making trial balance. So I've explained you few short bits and also I've explained you some MCQs.